Assalamu alaikum. Respected chief guest, distinguished speaker, faculty members, teachers, my dear brother and sister. Firstly, I would like to thank Aligarh Muslim University Student Union, particularly my brother Ferdous, for organizing this convention on a subject where there is a lot of misinformation. Now, like Sir has explained that even he was told that are you a Bangladeshi? So the general narrative is that there are millions of Bangladeshis in Assam. This narrative has even accepted by many constitutional authorities, sadly. So to understand the ground reality, I would just like to quote few numbers. The migration history. Sir has explained that in the Barak Valley, which is in the southern Assam, where the migration didn't take place. In fact, the Sylhet, which was part of Assam, after partition, it went to Bangladesh. So migration was never an issue there. Migration happened in lower Assam, in western Assam, around Guhati. The migration started in the latter part of the 19th century and it escalated after the partition of Bengal. The migration was mostly encouraged by the British government to increase their revenue because there were a lot of barren land, uncultivated land, and the Britishers thought that the Bengal, subsequently East Bengal, which was overpopulated, the limitation of cultivation of land have reached there. There was a jamindari system, so they thought that these hardworking peasants, mostly Muslims, should be brought here and settle here. The 1931 census, the superintendent of the 1931 census, he says that in the recent years, around more than 500,000 people have migrated to the lower Assam district. The migration was so much then there has to be, the British colonial administration, they brought a line system in Nagaon and Kamrup district, which is in Guhati, that, the migrant cannot occupy certain lands. In 1928, the British administration bought some scheme called colonization scheme. So they opened up areas in Barpeta, in Darang, in Kamrup, so that these people can come and settle here. Our first president, Mr. Rajendra Prasad, he writes in his autobiography and he narrates about his experience of his tour in Assam. So the 41st Congress session was held in Guwahati. It was Guwahati then, Guwahati now, in a place called Pandu in 1926. So immediately after that Congress session, he toured Assam. And in his autobiography, published by the Penguin right now, page number 252 to 253, he writes, "In my tour of Assam, I found large tracts of uncultivated land in Nagaon district." So he was crossing the Nagaon district, where the Navy is situated. There were no signs of human habitation for miles around, except few huts here and there. There was no shortage of water and land was covered by green foliage. There was no sign of land ever having been plowed. I was told that there was plenty of such land in the provinces, and according to the law of the land, anyone who brought the land under the plow and settled there became the owner. He writes, "The adjoining Mymensingh district of Bengal is thickly populated area. Many Muslim families migrated from Mymensingh to Nagaon and settled on the land, and when they began cultivation, became its owner. As more and more unused land came under their plow, the ratio of the Muslim population began to rise. When I heard all of this, I had an idea. Chhapra is one of the most densely populated districts of Bihar, and its people generally have to go out of the province in search of work every year. Thousands of people go to Assam and work as a laborer, and after earning some money, return to their homes. They never thought of settling down in Assam. I saw Biharis and men from Chhapra almost everywhere in Assam. I thought that if instead of just going to Assam to earn something and returning to Chhapra, they permanently settle there on the land there, not only would their future be assured, but also the pressure on the land would be reduced in Chapra. I sounded the Assamese on this subject and they welcomed it. They told me that they liked the Bihari laborers and did not like the people from Mymensingh, whose treatment of the local population was far from satisfactory. Some thought it better to have Hindus of Bihar than Muslims of Mymensingh. The communal feeling was uppermost in the minds then, and Assam was no exception. They welcomed the idea also because by themselves the Assamese were unable to bring the land under their plough. But the influx of the Muslims from Mymensingh was upsetting the population ratio, and the Assamese wanted to retain the majority in the Brahmaputra Valley. The influx of the Mymensingh would be countered only by allowing Bihari Hindus to settle on that land. So this is what our first president writes about his experience in the year 1927, immediately after the first 41st session of the Congress. By 1931, the Bengali-speaking people were twice the Assamese-speaking people in Assam. That is also because of the reason that Sylhet was part of Assam then. In 1937, the Muslim League had a government in Assam under Sir Syed Sadullah. Post-partition, the first census, 1951 census. According to that census, the Muslim population of Assam was 24.7%. And today, these are the people, their grandchildren, their children are accused of being illegal migrant. Immediately after the independence, there were communal riots. A lot of people there was a reverse migration. Many people talk about it, but there was reverse migration. People were arbitrarily thrown out of the country in the border of East Pakistan then. But around 53,000 people were apparently brought under the Nehru-Liaquat Pact. The government report says that 192,000 people were deported then. It was not, deportation means, the country of origin should confirm them. They were arbitrarily thrown out. So because there were a lot of arbitrariness, without any judicial process, people were being thrown out of the country then. So the government fears that that could be, international attention, international media attention would be there. And this is, I quote from the white paper published by the Assam government in 2011. The government thought that, that could be bad press internationally. We could get a bad name that after partitions, Muslims are being persecuted. So they thought of bringing a judicial framework. And they brought 1964 Foreigners Tribunal order under a Colonial Act, 1946 Foreigners Act. So under this Foreigners Tribunal order, they set up 4 Foreigners Tribunal initially in 1964. And the Foreigners Tribunals are just like court. There is a member who should be judicial member, but now lawyers are appointed there. Then there were judicial members. They should be the member of the chairman of the tribunal. And it's just like court, what evidence law, everything is applied there. There will be full-fledged trial. So then one kind of cases is to go to the tribunal. Now there are 2 kinds of cases which goes to the Foreigners Tribunal. Now I am giving this background because we all are talking about Citizenship Amendment Bill, NRC, but we don't know what exactly is happening before this. How people are being declared as foreigners. So there is something called Assam Border Police Organization. Now this is not the border security force. They don't stay at the border. In every police station of Assam, there is this Assam Border Police Organization, one investigation officer, constables. Their job is to stop the influx. Now, they basically should, scan the area under their jurisdiction. And if they come across any suspected citizen, they should ask for a document. And if they cannot provide citizenship document, they should give some time. And if they still cannot provide those documents, they will be accused of being illegal migrant, of illegally entering into India post 1971. Now, what happens on the ground is any person can be accused of being an illegal migrant, arbitrarily. Sir was talking about migrant laborers, people from Dhubri, from Barpeta, even my cousins, my extended family cousins, they also come to Guhati to work as a daily wage laborer, as rickshaw puller. They go to Jorhat. Mostly these people are the target. They will go to the rented accommodation where they stay. They will just take their name and address, address of the permanent address and also the rented accommodation address. And they will say that we are just doing a survey. And one fine day, you will receive notice from the Foreigners Tribunal. Arbitrarily, you can be accused of being an illegal immigrant. There is no investigation whatsoever. I have met people who were actually approached by the police, and they say that, we were called to the police station, and they say that we are making a record of people who are staying as a tenant around our police station. And one fine day, you will receive a notice. The process is so arbitrary. I'm sure you have all heard about an army officer called Ajmal Haq, right? This person, Mr. Ajmal Haq, he worked in the Indian Army for 30 years. And one fine day, he received a notice from the tribunal saying that you come before the tribunal and prove your citizenship. There was a national outrage. Everyone was reporting about it, and the government came under the pressure. The Assam Police Director General of Police and the DG Border Police, they called a press conference, and they said, out of embarrassment, that this is a case of mistaken identity, and the case was dropped against him. Now, if this is a case of mistaken identity, why was his wife accused of being an illegal migrant? Why was his sister-in-law accused of being an illegal migrant? They received the notice, they appeared before the tribunal, they underwent the humiliation process of the trial, proving their citizenship, and they were finally declared as an Indian citizen. They were accused of being an illegal migrant. Now, I was in a village recently. The person now he is working as a Naib Subedar, Shohidul Islam. In that village, there are full of army officers. 6 families of the army officers have received notice. In his family, his brother who worked in the CRPF, he have received notice. His mother have received notice. That case is still going on. In one of the Foreigners Tribunal in Barpeta, his higher authorities have written a letter to the Chief Minister and concerned authorities saying that we have verified his address, we have verified his nationality, and he's working under us since 1993. Despite that, his case is still going on the Foreigners Tribunal. And there is another kind of cases which started in 1997, which is called D-voter or doubtful voter. Now, here, the responsibility is on the Election Commission of India to, they started something called strict scrutiny of voter list. What they do, now this process is more easier. In the border police shall at least find someone names and address. Here they just take the voter list and say 1, 2, 3 अच्छा ये भी voter है, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 अच्छा ये भी voter है. एक घर में 1, 2 बना दिया और एक घर में सिर्फ 1 बना दिया. Parents are Indian citizens, the son is a D-voter. Now these cases are sent by the election officer to the superintendent of police border, and the border police again refer the case to the tribunal. So from here both the process is same. The border police bring the case, and the election commission through border police bring the case to the tribunal. Now, these cases were earlier adjudicated under IMDT Act, where the burden of proof is on the accused. Now, if you commit a murder, if you commit most heinous crime, the burden of proof is on the state. The state should, and then only you will be convicted. But under Foreigners Act, the burden of proof is on the accused. The accused who are very vulnerable, poor, mostly poor and illiterate. People like Ajmal Haq, Naib Subedar, Shahidul Islam are rare cases. But mostly people are these daily wage laborers. They have to sell their cattle, their properties to defend their citizenship. There is another act where the burden of proof is on the accused, where under NDPS Act, so if you are caught with banned substances, drugs and all, so the burden of proof is on you to prove that you have not carried this substance. And most of the acquittal happens under NDPS Act happens because of the fault of the investigation officer. If he do not take permission from his higher authorities, then you will just get acquitted. Now similarly, here is an act, Foreigners Act, where there is an absolute burden of proof is on you. And forget about fault of the investigation officer, there is no investigation only. Arbitrarily you can be picked up and say that you are a foreigner, come and prove your citizenship. Now, till last month, the government has filed an affidavit before the Supreme Court saying that there are 1,03,000 declared foreigners. Basically, these people who are sent referred by the Border Police and Election Commission, they are declared as foreigners. Now, how does a foreigner declare a person as foreigner? So, because the burden of proof is on you, if you do not appear, you will be declared foreigner by ex parte judgment. So, in your absence, you will be declared a foreigner. Now, like I said, that a lot of people in Jorhat, in Dibrugarh, in Guhati, these daily wage laborer, rickshaw pullers who stayed in rented accommodation, despite their permanent address is there, the notice is sent to the rented accommodation. And according to the CPC, if you hang the notice in any conspicuous spot, then it is deemed to be served. The notice is deemed to be served. So it's quite obvious. I mean, a person who was whose name was taken in 2004 or 7 or 8, obviously he will be not staying in the same rented accommodation. These are people who come to Guwahati to work for 2-3 months or 4 months, and then they go back to their place. So by December 2016, some 26,000 people were declared foreigner by ex parte judgment. A lot of people are still languishing in detention center. One of those, not only this kind of people are declared as foreign by ex parte judgment, there are other group also. Like I said, mostly people are poor and illiterate. They don't understand the repercussion of this notice. So there was a person called Abdul Jabbar. So he received a notice, very old man, he was in his 50s then, 55. And he received a notice, he went to a lawyer, and the lawyer said, "You don't worry, I will fight your case." And he thought that, because I paid money to my lawyer, he will fight my case. And the lawyer didn't go to the tribunal only. And one fine day, he was declared as a foreigner. In 2015, he was picked up. And then I got that case in the tribunal and to fight in the High Court to challenge the tribunal's order. And on the first day, on the motion, that case was dismissed. And after that, I did not, back then I had no much connection in the Supreme Court, contacts in the Supreme Court to fight a case pro bono. So I could not fight his case in the Supreme Court. So he was detained then. 2-3 months ago, in 2008 October, that person died inside detention center. And his body was handed over to his family, Indian family. Now, if he was a foreigner, why are you handing his body to an Indian family? He was not released before that. So if you appear before the tribunal and contest the case, there are possibilities now that mostly you could be declared as a foreigner. After 2016, after this government came to power, most of the people are declared as foreigner. Now, you have to give documents before 1971, voter list of 1966, and subsequent voter list till now. Basically, your name to link your name with your parents or your grandparents. Now, it is not about lack of documentation. It is about how the tribunal appreciate the documents. And I will give some example. Recently, I was drafting this case where the father name was Akbar Ali in 1966. 1970 it was Akbar. 1979 voter list it was Akbar. The A after AK was not there. And in one voter list it was Ali Akbar. Same village, father name same, Yasin. At one point it was Haji Yasin because the father performed Hajj. And the learned tribunal says that Akbar Ali and Ali Akbar are not same person. So your son is a foreigner. Modus operandi. There is a family, Dilip Biswas, his wife Ramani Biswas, and their 2 daughters, minor daughters. So Ramani Biswas, in her case, her father appeared, Surendra Biswas. But in some document it was Suren Biswas, in some document it was Suresh Biswas. But he appeared and he said that she is my daughter. The learned tribunal says that Surendra, Suren and Suresh is not one and same person. Your daughter is a foreigner. Since 2010, entire family is in detention center. Minor daughter have grown up inside detention without seeing the face of her father. Since 2010. So this is how people are declared as foreigners by the tribunal. And also, there are a lot of lawyers because of their mistakes also. They don't write a lot of things in the written statement. People are not very competent. Lawyers are not very competent in the tribunal level. That is also one reason why they cannot get good legal representation and they end up losing their citizenship. And when you are declared as a foreigner, the law says that you have to be detained and deported. Now there are 6 detention centers in Assam right now. And 823, these so-called declared foreigners are detained inside detention. Now they don't have right to parole. They don't generally inside jail, if you are a convicted foreigner, you get a daily wage. So you will be given some work and then you can earn some money from it. The declared foreigners are not entitled to that minimum wage. And even if your family member dies, you will not be released on parole. And because every day the detention centers are getting crowded, so the space is also very less. Now, a petition has been filed by Mr. Harsh Mandar to end indefinite detention and to improve the condition of the detention centers. Now, the Honorable Supreme Court asked the Assam government that how many people have you deported till now? And since 2013, this deportation process started. And they said that we have deported only 4 people. Because for deportation, the country of origin should confirm that person's nationality. Now there is other set of foreigners who are convicted foreigners, who are actually Bangladeshis, who come across the border or their visa period get over. Now these people are easily taken back by the Bangladesh government because they belong from Bangladesh. But these declared foreigners, their country of origin is India. When you declare people saying that, Akbar, Suren, Suresh is not same person, how do you expect other country to accept this person, these people? That is what, if a person declared as foreigner loses his case in the High Court and the Supreme Court, and he or she is in detention, so then that will lead towards indefinite detention, like what happened to Dilip Biswas and Ramani Biswas. Their case has been dismissed by the Honorable Supreme Court. Now, if Honorable Supreme Court do not release them, they will be under indefinite detention, and there is no sight of getting released. So this is how, apart from NRC, there is this framework to declare people as foreigner. And I am very new into this profession. I joined in 2011 and fighting these cases in 2014. I have not come across any so-called foreigners till now. I am sure sir have also not come across any foreigner till now. I say this with all conviction, with all responsibility, that it is not about lack of documentation. It is how, for these ridiculously minor anomalies, I challenge every one of you here. You see your parents' document, your grandparents' document. Somewhere or other there will be problem. Now in the same judgment of this Akbar and Akbar, so the 66 voter list, father age was 30. So 97 it should be 61. So it was I think 69. So the learned tribunal says there is a remarkable difference of 9 years. So this person cannot be same person. If this is the standard, then I am sure we all will lose our citizenship if we are put through this process. Then come the NRC. So in NRC, where you need to submit 2 sets of documents, one before 1971 and one the list B document, the present document to link yourself with your parents or your grandparents. When I was campaigning for awareness, when I was doing these awareness camps in mostly Muslim-dominated districts, so there was huge enthusiasm. There was a lot of hope, expectation that finally Supreme Court have come with some kind of framework where foreigners will be segregated from Indian citizens and we will not be harassed, we will not be abused. But slowly, steadily, when this government came to power, everything started changing. These people in the lower Assam, they were always being accused of being illegal migrants. And when the final draft came, this is not the list, this is only draft, final draft, where 40 lakhs people were out. The best district was Dhubri, where around more than 90% people were included. In these people who were always abused as illegal migrants, most of their name are there in the NRC. And then these propagandists, this vested interest party, they started discrediting the NRC, saying that illegal migrants' name have entered the NRC. This is a process executed by your government under the Supreme Court's monitoring. So this powerful minister of Assam, he on record says that too many names have been included in the border areas, in Hailakandi, in Karimganj, in Dhubri, Gwalpara. And he says that we need to find a device to exclude more names from the list. This person has taken oath on the constitution. And this is what he says. And then the party president, the national president, in the house of the parliament, he says that 40 lakh Ghuspeti ko humne pakad liye. There are a lot of even indigenous Hindus also there. They want to create a narrative that we have done this, because when the final list will come, not many people will be there. Maybe, I don't want to guess, but less than 40 lakhs will be there. And they have been saying since then that there are 50 lakhs, 60 lakhs. the truth is not matching their propaganda. So that is why they want to create this narrative. And they want to bring Citizenship Amendment Bill now to protect one set of people. And when the bill was passed in the Lok Sabha, there was nothing to defend except that if CAB is not brought, then this minister says that 17 constituency will go to Jinnah, will go to Bangladeshi, will go to Badruddin Ajmal. This is the person who has taken oath on the constitution. He is abusing his subjects as Bangladeshi, as Jinnah. Now, what I see this as, an attack on the constitution. This is, they are not following the due process of law. This is an abuse of the constitution. If you abuse an Indian citizen as Bangladeshi, as Pakistani, you are not only abusing that person as Pakistani, you are abusing the Indian constitution. If you humiliate a person as foreigner, an Indian citizen, then you are attacking the constitution. Now, I have come here with a lot of hope and expectations, not just to come and speak. This great institution has always been a beacon of hope whenever darkness has engulfed the community. We are going through a very challenging time. So I sincerely hope that we need more good lawyers. Aligarh Muslim University Faculty of Law is one of the most excellent institute in this country. We need more lawyers who want to work for underprivileged people. We want more bureaucrats. Yesterday, the UPSC result has been announced, and from Minto Circle, a student, he got 3rd position, Mr. Junaid Ahmed. We need more Junaid Ahmed. So that is my hope. With this great hope, I end my lecture. Thank you very much.